Okay, so this is I'm Mr. Yee, and this is my tutorial on how to use Adobe Photoshop Sketch. You can get this on self-serve. Here, if you don't have it installed yet on your iPad, you go to your self-service, and you find it here. Right, so this is it right over here, and you click on that, and you would install that. I have it installed on my device already, so I'm going to exit out of here. If I can get out of here. Get out of that. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my Adobe Photoshop Sketch, which is down here on the dock on the bottom for me. And first things first, you want to hear some of my previous drawings here. This one here is Miss Yoda's here. Let's see what we got. I'm going to start a new canvas, so we'll go to the plus sign over here, and you have all different formats, different sizes. You can see different PPI, which is pixels per inch, different orientations. So I'm going to go with a landscape 11 by 8.5 right over here with 300 PPI. I'm going to hit that one. And here you go. Here's my canvas. It's blank. There's many different things you can do with this program, this app. So it's pretty interesting. Right now it's a blank canvas, so you have different tools here. So this one here is like a pencil. You can, if you click on that and go to the first one, here's your size. If you click on it and drag up, you make the thickness. Make it thicker or thinner, line quality, right? You have here your flow, which is more opaque or more transparent, depending on which way you drag that circle up or down. Okay, so I'm going to keep it high, more opaque. You got your color down here. You can click on that, and you got your wheel here. You can choose whatever color you like. See different colors show up on the left side here. You can also make it more opaque or more lighter. So you got your tint and your shade basically, right? So here, got it more bright. This is more dark. All right, so I'm gonna keep that intensity up. I'm gonna go with a lighter color here because I'm gonna sketch a little bit. I'm gonna get that right now. Okay, so that's that. Click off it, and then you hear here are your settings here, right? You can also hit this here, and you have more settings here. Your size, your flow, you can control it this way. Velocity, which is more dynamic. You can reset your brush there. Blend mode, you have different modes here, and we can play around with all that stuff. I'm not going to do it now. It's another tutorial in itself. Okay, you can also change it up. So say you want more, I don't know, you just want all these things want to install. Now I don't want to install them. You got more of a pen. You got different kind of like brushes here. This is more of like a thicker, like an acrylic kind of paint. So if you can see, it looks more like a thick paintbrush, right? Change the colors, change the size, okay, and flow. Bring this down, and it's very transparent. Okay, so you have all these different things you can play around with. I would definitely try different things. Here's your watercolor. So you got watercolor over here, right? And it even has like the sensitivity. So the more you put on top, it bleeds like as if it was wet, like a real watercolor brush, right? Change the colors. Right. So say I had chose this color here, and watch it bleed into the other colors. Again, keep the flow low, and you can blend things together, right? The more pressure you put on it, or the more you go over one section, the more opaque it gets. And I'm not even painting on it right now. You can see my hand. My Apple Pencil is out. You can use a stylus or your finger. It still works, and it's still bleeding out. Now, say I chose color here, and I wanted to. I like how that's blended right there. Hit the fan on the bottom, boom, and it freezes it. So it like cools it off and dries it out. So it freezes right there, right? If I wanted to keep going, I can let it sit, and I can let it bleed forever, but well, not forever, but hit the fan, I could stop it right there. So this is just me playing around. You could experiment too, but this arrow up here on the top right hand side on the menu here on the bar here, and it's an undo button, so I can go back as many steps as I want and go back to a blank canvas. So here, these are all your brushes and your pencils and pens, and you have all these cool different line qualities here. Again, I can go like that, change this up, play around with it, right? If you have an Apple Pencil, it has a little more sensitivity. If you use your finger, you can do a lot of stuff with that too. That's fine, right? Same thing, right? Depending on how large you make that brush. See? Okay, so let's get out of that. I'm gonna go back, undo all of it. Okay, so let's just play around and sketch this out a little bit. I'm gonna go back to my pencil here. Let's see, keep the size there, keep the flow up, color is fine. All right, so let's mess around and draw something. Okay, so we're gonna sketch this out. Here, so I'm gonna sketch it out. All right, so I'm gonna make some guidelines. All right. I'm just sketching out here, right? It's gonna be a face over here. Okay, so I'm sketching out like that. Just making a bunch of guidelines. Yeah, we get a little cartoon character here. You don't like something, you can always erase. There's an eraser right here, down here, and you can erase whatever you don't like. All right, so they really thought of everything here. So you can mess around with stuff, change the quality. All right, so I'm playing around just this color here for now. Okay, anyways, got that. All right, so you can mess around with this as much as you want. Now, say I want to create another layer. Right now I have a background layer here, and I have this transparent layer here. If you click on it, you have different qualities here on your sketch layer. These are called sketch layers. Opacity, obviously, how transparent or opaque you want to make it. So say I want to bring that opacity down a little bit. Get different blend modes. Darker, multiply. Multiply means you can go over something and the lines will still show through. I'm going to keep it normal for now. You'll play around with all these different things here, transform different layers, duplicate a layer. You want to copy the layer you have. You want to delete a layer, you can do that here. All right. If you want to hide a layer, right? So say you have this and you want to hide it, hit that eyeball. When the line goes through it, that means it's hidden. It's not thrown away. It's not deleted. It's just there. Hit it again. It shows. Okay. But I want to create a new layer. Let's go to another layer on top. All right. So sketch layer. Now I have another layer on top of that one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, go for some ink here. I'm going to make this black. Okay. I'm going to go full opacity here. I want to make this a lot thinner, like that. And let's see what this looks like. So I'm going to try and tighten up this sketch right now. If I want to enlarge an area, I can use my fingers, 2 fingers on the canvas, and I can spread my fingers, and it gets you zoom in. If I want to shrink it down, pinch my fingers together, close it together, and I zoom out. Right, and you see the edges borders my canvas there. And let's try and tighten up. So I'm on this new layer here. I don't want to work on that layer, on the first layer. That was my sketch layer. This one here, I can rename this if I want to, but I'm just going to leave it right now. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try and get some better lines. Okay, so I'm just going to try and tighten this up a little bit. All right, with some black, so I'm kind of like me inking it. All right. Now, again, I don't like something. I use my eraser here. Let's see how, make it a little thicker. Come out here. I'm going to erase this line here. I'm not crazy with this line here. I think I missed a little bit, so I'm going to erase that. Change this back to my inking line here. And connect that there. Use my eraser. Clean this up. All right, the whole idea here is you want to get different line thicknesses. A variety of lines is a better way of saying that. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to change the thickness of that. Bring it up a little bit. Didn't like that last line. I'm going to delete that. Bring this line thickness down a little bit. Now, so I drew over my sketches here, my sketch lines here, right? So I got kind of this base going on here, and I can go back to my sketch layer, click it again, and I want to hide it. So I'm going to hit the eyeball, and it's gone. So now it's much cleaner looking now, right? You have just your ink lines on top of that. Okay, so we got that. Just a random little face there, little person. We'll see. Maybe we'll put some background in here. Oh, go on that one. Remember to go back to the ink layer, the finish layer, right? The layer I want to draw on. And here. So put some background over here. Put the tree. Remember, thicker lines on the outside, thinner lines on the inside. Get some different line quality in there, variation. All right, so I'm going to erase that part there. And we'll draw a little path. This kid is walking on. There you go. All right, so we got that, right? So there's our person here. Now, say you wanted to color, you would go with another layer, right? So another sketch layer. I'm going to change this one to a different blend mode. I'm going to change that one to multiply, like so. And this is what I'm talking about as far as coloring the person, and you'll see through it. So say I change to my watercolor brush here on the left side. Let's change color. We'll put a color like that. I'm going to bring this opacity up a little bit. Oops. Come here. Bring this down. Don't do too thick. And I'm going to make sure I'm on that top layer. Okay. And watch. If I shade them in, color them in. Okay, you see the black line still underneath it. Like so. All right, and remember it's like kind of like a wash. This is a watercolor paintbrush. I can change the colors up now. So back to color. Warm up a little bit here. Bring this over a little bit. And to make it a little more transparent. Mix some colors. All right. Keep mixing things up. Get some highlights in there. We'll see our light source coming this way from the top left. Okay, I know I didn't go over that with some of you guys yet, but put some light there. And then we'll do the opposite and get some shadow. Need to cool it off a little bit. So on the opposite side, we'll get a little darker. Like so. And don't worry about making mistakes because you can always fix things at any time. That's the beauty of art, and especially a digital medium. You're not wasting any materials. You're constantly adding and changing things and making adjustments. All right, put some color for his hair.